a birthday party 1 minute, Christmas party the next minute, or you can have just, light, dimmable LED lighting, white color or whatever. Got all that all done, and she seems to be pretty happy about it. Little by little, man, Jimmy, I have filling up the radio room at the barn with so much crap. It's just sad. And a friend of mine came over, and I gave him 1,800 pounds of steel, scrap steel, out of the scrap pile behind the barn, and he made him some money. I think he got like $121.
Roger that. Do you mean out at the farm?
Yeah, I had a bunch of stuff stored out there, copper, brass, aluminum, different piles of different things, and he hauled some stuff off. I just told him, I said, get a tractor over and hook a boom onto it and lift everything in the back of the truck. And he went down, came back up, and he said, man, that'll buy me some diesel fuel for a week or two. I said, well, good. Glad you got it out of here. Now we can mow it. But yeah, I hit this tuner, and that made the radio happy. The SWR meter's not moving at all. Thank God it's in here. And something's a little on the shady side of the antenna system. Now, I can hook up to the other one, and I can rock and roll all night long with the single 3-500Z. But boy, when I hook up to this character here, I got a feeling it's up in the air. Moisture's gotten inside the box or something. And what it is, Jim, is I have I got two pieces of RG11 coaxes up there in the air horizontally at an angle, and they're shorted on both ends, and they got tuning stubs. And then right in the middle, you open up the ground, and you put one side of your coax to one side and the other side to the other side, and you that's your ballon. The center conductor becomes your ballon, and believe it or not, you get a 50 ohm load, and you get a good SWR and stuff. But when you put it under power, it starts breaking down somehow. So whatever's wrong is probably in that box. The 80 meter's fine. The 40 meter's got a problem where I can't crank it and crank it and spank it. So I'll deal with that. Yeah, I'll tell you, the heat is some. I've got down my pound. I'm down to 220 now. Back in my 38s, which is good. But the heat is just taking its toll on me. Seems like more and more and more I get doing well, and my knees are. I gotta have both these knees have to be replaced. And boy, I tell you what, this has not been this has been a hotter. And I remember this in 2002. We had or 2003. We had a really hot summer, and then it happened. About every 7 to 12 years. Now they're predicting 3 feet of snow this winter, so all hell's going to break loose.
I thought you were going to say next week, 3 foot of snow next week. Welcome to the Ohio Valley. Listen, on that antenna, I will put you a 40-meter dipole up on that tower in about 10 minutes and get you on. You got a coax run going to that tower?
Yeah, I do, Jimmy, but the thing of it is, and I greatly appreciate that, but here's the thing. I want it to cool down a little bit, and I want to have that safety cable, where we have a winch. We have a 4,000-pound winch, and there's a pulley up there, and there's this 3/8 cable that goes up there. It's got clear coating on it, and it comes back down, and it can hook onto a safety belt. If something happens, I got the thing goes between your legs around your waist, and it just grabs a hold of you, and it won't let you go, and that's a safety factor. I want y'all to hit the lottery. I just don't want Teresa hitting the lottery on me.
Yeah, Roger. Well, you're talking about the tower at your house, right?
Yeah. Jimmy, here's the thing. I have to have double bazooka antennas in order to run AM. I can't run a normal. I can try this, and this is something I thought about. I can try running a one of those inverted L's. You go upside the tower so far, and you go out, and you can go back and forth so many times. Like that cable I've got, that rotor cable. I got rows of that stuff, and I can, go upside the tower 3 times, and then go out 3 times, and you know, use that rotor cable and make up and then use a big old, you know, what they call a link couple tuner, and just dial the damn thing into anything I want from 6 meters all the way to 160, and have the numbers there where I can just go out there and roll it right in, and I need to. But when it comes to that AM transmitter, boy, you got to have the antenna 40 and 80 and 160. You got to have one hell of an antenna to handle that kind of power.
Roger, Roger. Well, I'm talking about the radio you're on now, you know. I'm sure you're sitting next to 1,500 watts or so. You know, inverted V for 40 is going to be around 60 feet to the side of center, you know. You got plenty of space to put that up. You don't have to, you know, it doesn't have to be good for all those other frequencies. It just, you know, for 40.
Well, I'm on 40 now. I've got a good one on 40. It's inverted V. It's a double bazooka. It's made out of coax, again. And it's got, like, stingers on each end, like what you'd find on mobile. It's got stingers on each end. I think one of them I got from you. It's got stainless steel clamps, and there's something arcing, and it's causing RF to come back. Damn near burnt the band switch up in my amp. And there's something arcing, something loose. And what I need to do is probably get off my rear end and just go out there, lower the antenna down with the weed eater string, lower it down, and fix the damn thing as opposed to being lazy.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you know, you're putting your dedicated ham radio operator status in jeopardy by, you know, not being fired to the wire.
Well, the problem of it is that my son, like I said, that home that you walk through is not the same home. I'd like to take you over maybe next week and show you what I've done. And with the help of her father, he really helped out a lot. But it really came alive. We now have we took a third of the garage away and we added it to the kitchen. So what we wound up doing is putting in a longer kitchen, longer countertops, longer everything. And then there's a big space for kitchen table, you name it, nice windows, doors, everything. And then there's a door to the garage, there's a place for refrigerator, there's a place for microwave, stove, everything. And then there's a washer and dryer down at the very far end where it used to be an oversized garage. And then there's a bathroom at the very end. And it's all insulated with R19 and the ceilings and the walls and the floors. And it's got that PEX piping and drain lines and everything, you name it. I love that PEX piping, by the way. I got to show you some really tricks on that. It's a little expensive in the very beginning, but boy, once you get it going, and shark bites, I like shark bites too. Hell with all that brazen anything. I'm done with that stuff. I'll spend a few dollars more and buy the shark bites. And just take a tubing cutter, cut the crap away, put a shark bite in there, and I got a tool that actually removes the shark bite so I can reuse it again. So I'm big on the new technology stuff. Just got done repairing the rear faucet on the house that had been busted, and I could have took the torch and beat it over and took the thing apart and got the washer away from it, and I could have silver soldered the crack. And I am going to do it. I'm actually going to fix the damn thing and take it to the farm and you reuse it out there. But I put a new one in here this morning. And so what I did was once I got it all installed, I used a 90-degree elbow that fitted on the male fitting, 3/4 mil fitting, and used some pipe thread tape on there and tightened it down real good. And then I took a PEX pipe, same thing, you can use half-inch plumbing, and I fit it one to the half-inch plumbing, and there was about an inch or so of PEX pipe between the one fitting and the other one, and I turned it sideways and slid her in there and locked it in place, turned the water on, and boy, it's perfect. I was like, now we're cooking with George. So the YAESU back spigot is working now. We no longer have to drag the water hose around.
Roger, Roger. When I detect somebody changing the topic of conversation about getting an antenna going for 40 meters, I'm talking to California every night on 80 meters with 20-foot height dipole, you know. We don't have to have great height.
No, we don't. And again, I just need to fix what I got. So you're talking to 80 minutes. What are you getting up real late at night, like 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, talking to the guys in California?
2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. You gotta get. It's only 11 o'clock out there.
Damn, boy, you got it down pat. And if you can't hear them very good here, I've been doing the same thing you're doing. I get on an SDR receiver up there in northeast Pennsylvania on K3 FES on Michaels. And by the way, it was 61 degrees raining this morning up there in his neighborhood. And to him, that was cold, thank God, because that heat wave was killing him. And anyway, I get up there, and I leave the AM transmitter keyed up on 3880 or 3873, whichever it was. And these guys are talking to each other. And when they unkey it, they said, "Man, it's nice and quiet." I said, I said, "Well, that's because I'm not talking." I said, "What do you mean?" I said, "I'm leaving it keyed up. So when you guys are talking to each other, I can hear myself. When you unkey, I'll say, 'Hey guys,' I know I can hear it right through the receiver." It's perfect.
Roger, man. I use that San Francisco Half Moon Bay SDR. Man, that thing is just beautiful. These other guys, I think they're in LA and up around Washington State. They're just killing that Half Moon Bay SDR. So I got that coming back. I got it. I got the rotary select audio input for this Qso-Vlog audio setup. So I just turn the rotor switch and select the Half Moon Bay receiver, man, and it's just beautiful.
I want to ask you a question. Do you believe, by any chance, that the whatever the disease that we have, do you believe the disease is called a radio, RADIO? Do you believe that the disease that we are infected with is that magic that goes in a box and out the antenna and back in another box? Do you believe it's what they call radio?
Well, just so long as I don't wind up going out in a box.
Well, no. The question is, when the bug bit you as a child, when the bug bit me, not too many people have been down the various roads that me and you have not traveled we have not traveled the normal road in the normal industry. We're not Harvard graduates or anything. We're a little bit somewhat of the backwards the back street boys of radio.
Roger. Well, I'm not particularly fond of that group, but incidentally, your audio is you have running great audio. Your 3 dB dynamic range on your audio, so that's a nice fat signal, Roger.
Well, I'll compliment that. I'll take that compliment from my good friend, who is a real good friend of Mr. Howell and everybody else on the band, and according to the scope. On the rig here, things look very nice and isometrical and so forth and so on. It seems to be. I love. I'm on a hand mic, by the way, on a hand mic, and I'm running a little compression, and I'm running a little this, running a little that, and I really like it, and I like running hot audio.
Roger. Well, as long as you stay on mic and don't get distracted by doing something and they're looking away or something, you're right there. But sometimes you start talking about something, you look away, and it just kind of dies off to the side, So that's the only thing I get. I'd have to take that hand mic and get me some Gorilla Tape, and I'll just Gorilla Tape around the back of your head and just Gorilla Tape that microphone right in front of you so you can't get off mic.
Oh, no, I've got a certain position here. I'm laying on my side. I've got my left arm down in the bed, and I got my left hand holding up my right elbow, and I've got the mic bent over, and I got it just turned just right so I can look at the radio and that kind of thing. But, Jim, I will take your warning about getting off my rear end and getting out there and getting the great kilowatt antenna status taken care of. I'll tell you something else I had to do the other day. I was kind of fiending to put the one transmitter on the air. I hooked up a dummy load in with a bad antenna, and I talked to a guy in Canada on AM. and we were on 7295, I believe it is. And I was on a defective antenna, but yet I had the dummy load as a T there to give it to 50 ohm, a good thing. But the receiver was doing quite well, and we had a good conversation. And I told him, it's kind of amazing. And of course I was running a Johnson Viking Valiant along with a Collins, a Collins 3S something, 75 3SC or something receiver. I was having a good old time having to manually switch everything from standby from the receiver to standby from the transmitter, and oh my God, it seemed like it was forever. But I ordered some 12-volt double pole, double throw relays off at Radio Shack for $7 a piece. I ordered 6 of them, and they came in the other day. And I'm waiting on some parts. I've got Big Mo old part out there right now, and boy, it's really a cluster, you know what. So it's L-O-U-N9GTO with KC9VKV for ID. I've got Big Mo out there, and Big Mo's all tore apart, and everything's everywhere, so it's kind of, you got to watch when you got 4-1000 setting up on the shelf. You don't want to bust anything, you don't want to knock anything over, because that's when you're throwing thousands of dollars out the window. So I'll get Big Mo back on the air as soon as that big resistor comes. I also ordered 6 of them for stand. You know, when you order something, you got it in a drawer, you'll never need it. So I ordered 6 of them for backups for the resting, idling current, whatever you want to call it, so that we can dissipate the proper amount of B minus yada and assertation to the tubes and all that good stuff. So, but you're sounding good as always. And yes, I will probably, the wife is going to be off Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Oh, Lord, I'm going to be put through pure hell for that one. But oh well, I'm all geared up and ready to take the beating.
Roger. Well, listen, I got 250 feet of telephone line, man. We'd get out there, and I can get you going there on a 40-meter slightly inverted V. It doesn't have to be a sharply, it doesn't have to be 45 degrees. It's wherever the angle of the dangle leads you, in the simplistic form, most simplistic form. And I got the end ice insulators, all that stuff. We get you going, man, because I don't want people saying, hey, what's that guy you're talking to? Where's he coming from? I said, no, that's Skip coming in from Bulgaria.
Oh yeah. I again, I'm not gonna. Give me next week sometime. Like I said, this whole thing with the son's home and you name it, the cameras had to get installed. This had to be done. That had to be done. And little by little, it all got done. And thank God for Carter. Carter, it went in the attics and crawled places and drug cables here and there and mounted cameras and my God, I tell you what, little Carter's got the farm, got the house, got my son's house, got them all wired and got them all programmed to where anything walks around, it gives you a beep on the phone. You can talk to anybody through a speaker. Oh man, it's crazy.
Yeah, but he's got all your Bofang antennas tied up in some kind of situation there. I can't even borrow a Bofang antenna from you.
Hey, he's even got the DMR. He even confiscated the DMR, and he calls that the military radio. He loves listening to those guys, and I'm hoping that the bug will take him to a better place in life. I'm hoping that he's got to be a kid, that's for sure. But I'm hoping the radio bug bites him enough to where he hears enough adults talking that the ideal, it hasn't set in yet. It's more of the he loves the idea of having all these radios on him, and his great grandmother told me one day, she said he had 5 radios on him. He had an infrared gun going into like a holster that looked like a gun, and he walked into a store with her, and the kid's eyes looked real big, and she could just see what the kid was saying to her mother. Is that real? Does he have a real gun on it? Of course, it's green or it's yellow or red or whatever, you know, the infrared gun, and it's sticking in some kind of like a little plastic holster or some kind of like a little something, a tool belt or something for a drill or something. And the kid looks like he's ready to repair or fix anything. And I can't find a Bofang or an antenna around here. I think that, of course, he knows what frequencies to go to for his family radio or whatever it is, or GMRS or FRS or whatever, and he knows more about this stuff than the law allows. And I've been trying to get him to get the license, and for some reason or other, well, I'll tell you, he and then the wife told him the other day, said, you know, I got a feeling that something happens to Lou, we might have to just have you haul all this over to your grandma's house. Well, Grandma said, hell no.
She's the only sane one of the batch there. Hey, now Carter ordered about 20 wrong antennas for the Bofang. Did you ever get the right antennas?
Well, here's the thing. The right antennas are on a slow boat from China, and I didn't understand that one at all. Carter ordered some wrong antennas. We have a ton of 440 antennas, and we have a ton of back things for another radio, walk song or something. But we, you know, but yeah, he for some reason we were talking, and I didn't. And then when the antennas came in, I kept noticing the 850 wasn't all that great and stuff, and I unscrewed an antenna and took a what do you call it, one of those magnifying glasses, looked up in there, and it said 430 to 450 or something. I was like, hey, Carter, we ordered the wrong antenna. Well, they said he said we ordered the right one, but according to Amazon, we ordered the wrong one. So, but yeah, there's I don't know what the deal is with those antennas, but yeah, I've got to recuperate. Are you still looking for a Bofang portable antenna?
Well, sure I am. I think I gave one to you one time when you didn't have one, and now I'm missing one.
Yeah, you're right. You did give me one, and it bailed me out of a bad situation. But I'm going to tell you something. After I got to hear what I sound like, I've been recording myself on the repeater, and I just said from now on, I take a jump box with me, and you know, the $69 Fat Max, it's like 1,000 ampere hour, you know, for so many seconds or whatever. It's a little gel cell battery that you know, it's got USB, it's got an air compressor, jump box thing. Well, I take that and I put it in the floorboard of Jake's car, and I hook up a radio, and I hook the positive negative up to the jumper cable, turn the little switch on, and I put different radios in the seat, and put I got that little antenna me and you had made. And by the way, that is the greatest little antenna, UHF, VHF, it does it all. I checked it with the analyzer and the bird meter, and on 444-200, that damn thing's flat. With 75 watts forward, there's no reflective power with a 5-watt meter. On UHF, that is awesome. Same way with VHF. And I'm going, we hit the ballpark on that one.
Roger. Yeah, we're getting ready to go somewhere, and we took 2 antennas and some duct tape, Gorilla duct tape, and we didn't use super glue on that one, but yeah, it turned out pretty good. I was a little bit concerned because you know, I didn't have my analyzers only got to VHF, but as I remembered it, you know, about 17 3/4 inches is conducive UHF, VHF both.
Yeah, that really works good for repeaters. Now, if you were going radio to radio, you'd want to go, you know, a different story, collinear or something, and you'd want that 5/8 over 5/8 over 5/8 crap. But I'll tell you what, I think me and you got really hummed up on these. The manufacturer of the G7s, I did figure it out. If we take that, there's an epoxy that they make that is like a Reslon epoxy. And you take this Reslon epoxy, and first of all, you run the tape up and down the antenna. The tape is 4 inches wide, and it's in this epoxy, and it's like fiberglass. And you run it up and down the whole antenna once it's together and tuned. And then you fold it. And you got gloves on, by the way. And then you put a curing agent on it that it literally turns into like a gel coat. The gentleman was telling me what he's done up in Wisconsin. Put this gel coat on. He said the damn thing doesn't move. It doesn't bend very much at all. And if it does, it's resilient. It comes right back. And it doesn't get any moisture in the damn thing either. He loves the antennas, but he's had a hell of a time with all the wind. See, the wind whipping up in the end up at the farm is what caused. And I still not, KC4ZMZ Bill. We shut the 443-300 down. Kind of put it in resting mode, and we got the 146 or 147-90. I've got to turn the fusion back on. I forgot to do that last week or whatever. And there was also a thing I need you to do, and that I don't know why I haven't done it, or I shouldn't done it, or could have done it, or would have done it, is I need some kind of satellite dish with a single full wave quad in the vertical position. And I want to, it don't have to be a dish. It can just be, hell, it could just, I think I got to build it myself then. But, I need to do a saddle, this is basically a cubicle quad, two element cubicle quad for 2 meters, and dedicate it right there to the 147-090, and have that thing hanging right off the side of the tower, with the pipe just mounted right on the legs of it, and looking right at the 090, so I can send the data up from the internet up there. I just hadn't really, I built a 2-element cubicle quad for 10 meters, and it's sitting back there right now, standing up in the air with 2 pipes, and that's something that me and you really need to get together on, because as a single element, it is awesome. Not only is it awesome for 10 meters and 11 meters and all that stuff, but it's also awesome for 80 meters and 40 meters on receive. You take a tuner and tune it in, and then you go out there and just move the pipe around to the maximum signal. You're listening to somebody, and it's like a receiving loop antenna, and it's unbelievable. And you've got one already out there. I was going to tell you, you can just take a little cheap 300-watt tuner and just tune the damn thing to where you get the maximum receive out of it. And, boy, it takes out all the lightning noise and everything.
Well, I got to admit, in my cleaning up here, I took 6 K-band antennas to the garbage, L&Bs and all, just choop in the garbage. Now, I remember that big C-band patio dish at 6-footer? I cut that up into tenths, pie tenths, and stuffed it in the garbage can.
Oh my God, you actually did that?
I did that, man. You can't take a patio C-band antenna and put it on your garbage can and expect them to take it. So I did. I took my my jigsaw, man, and I just cut that up into tenths, pie tenths, and put it in the garbage. Worked great. Even it had this pipe round part that was on the floor of it, and I cut that up into fourths, I think.
How many bits did you go through? Sawzall bits?
Just one, man. I didn't even break that one.
A lot of WD-40.
No, I didn't use WD-40. I didn't. That aluminum cuts pretty good.
Oh, so that was all aluminum.
Except for the the floor rail. It had that little round 6-foot round pipe that fit on the floor, and then it had that one piece that came up that you could adjust the azimuth of that's patio C-band.
Hey, we won't mention any names, but the guy came over and helped you with your coax from the pole?
Oh, Roger.
I let him loose with some really nice, expensive toys, and he was supposed to pay me several weeks ago, and he just kind of disappeared. You haven't heard him lately, have you?
No, I haven't. I have not at all. Of course, I haven't been on 2 meters much.
Yeah, I let him have a brand new toolbox and a ladder rack, aluminum ladder rack for his truck, and gave him a good price on it. He came up to the farm and got it, and I told him, I said, we can, he was trying to do something that Saturday. I said, look, we can work the next Saturday because I got some things I got to do, and that was several Saturdays ago, so I'm not sure how long really that's been, but I thought, well, maybe things will get a little better for him. He seemed like he had a lot of things going on, so I was kind of hoping that he would get into a right position. I got a feeling that those IT jobs at that level there, there's just so many, it's just so damn competitive. Unless you're really, really sharp in IT, it's kind of hard to make a living.
Roger. Well, I think he is proficient in what he does there, and knowledgeable, and I'm sure that, well, I'm almost sure that the check's in the mail.
Also, yeah, the father-in-law said he could always go and repossess the truck.
Oh, Roger that, or take the wife as down payment.
That father-in-law, he just looked at me and said, "You don't let anything leave without down payment." I said, "Well," I said, he's in between something." I said, I kind of help him out a little bit. He said, "One of these days you're going to learn." And boy, he always calls it like he sees it.
Roger. Well, there's a lot to be said for half now and half when the job's done. I'm a full, believer in that thing.
How'd your sewer turn out? Everything good?
Sewer. Yeah, as far as I know, I mean, it. I got some pavers I got to put in there to take care of the other side. I'm looking for some kind of water repellent tarp or something like that to put down, and then put down some pavers on top of that until I really get that taken care of.
Well, they make something at Home Depot. My neighbor has it in his backyard. There's a patio, concrete patio, and they took a concrete saw and they cut out the concrete going up next to the house, and they dug it out about 4 inches wide, 5 inches wide, and they put these plastic U things in with these little crates. And then he told me his dad did it all the way around his house. He said his dad was having problems with water, from the patio and this, because they had concrete all around it. So his dad rented a saw for a week, went all the way around the whole house, and put this trough in and tied them all together to where it actually drains, to the back side of the house, not to a creek. And that made me think about you.
Oh, Roger that. Well, I got some of that. I went to, home, my friendly local Home Depot, and I got some of this great GE silicone, the top grade silicone stuff, man. And I did a thing in the front there. I took a drill, about an 1/8 inch drill, and just cut me a slot down at the bottom between the wood and the concrete. And I did put a new point on that drill, the bit, because it was running against concrete some of the way. But I got this nice trench between the two, and then I did just load it up with that GE silicone, and man, that sucker, I'll go out there after it rains, and there'll be about an inch or half-inch standing water, and it'll be there for 2 weeks. So I know the seal's working, Roger.
That's good. That is real good.
So I got that taken care of now, but I still having that problem, so I know that it's on the other side of the house. So I've got a fascia board, tin. Well, nobody carries redwood anymore.
Oh, no, you know how expensive redwood is?
Well, I know, because I can't find any. But I gotta, you know, maybe I'll check over to 84 Lumber. Maybe they got a couple of pieces of 1-inch tin by, you know, and I gotta fix that fascia board and then proceed on with, you know, taking care of the water situation, Roger.
Yeah, that house was built with it's amazing how the house was built. Number one, I've never seen one like it. And it's definitely out of this world. I can't describe it to people, but what kind of square footage is that house?
Oh, I don't know. Gosh, I have no idea, man. And you know, it was 4 bedrooms, and then we took 2 bedrooms and put them together, so we have an extra large master bedroom, Roger.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. I would say at least 1,400 square feet.
Oh yeah, 18 maybe. You know, because it's got. I don't know if they include the basement part, but that new addition in the front there, that's with the basement.
Okay, the basement comes from one side of the front all the way to the other side.
Yeah, Roger.
And that's all one build, right?
Well, I mean that front was added to it, Roger.
Oh, the front was added to it.
Yeah, Roger.
Wow. And that was the nursery people that did that.
Oh yeah. Everybody else since then. Well, never mind.
Well, interesting, but yeah, it has so much appeal to me. It does. And even the wife told me. She said, I can see, you know, Teresa's situation there. I said, yeah. She said, well, I'm a little concerned about mine, you know, and I kept thinking they were in collusion together, which she had told me the other day. She said, you know, I'm not emailing Teresa, I'm not talking to her or anything. She said, there's no collusion, it's just telepathy. I said, what do you mean? She said, we're just transponding messages back and forth, and I can see in her driveway, and she can see in my driveway on Google how things are looking, and from Google Earth, and she said, I'm very, you know, and then she told me that she wanted the back porch expanded all the way over this winter. She wants it completely expanded over. So I got a guy coming over next Thursday to give me a price on doing that. So he's going to expand it from the existing all the way over to, and then also too, we're having a carport that matches the house. In other words, it doesn't go like the other guy to the left of me. They just had a roof on the side like a lean-to, and to me it looks like shit. But she wants a carport added onto the side of the house to the right with the vault, you know, the 4 to 12 pitch roof that matches the house. And Jimmy's going to sign off on the vagrants thing. And speaking of who, let me see who this is here.
Destiny.
I can block that one real quick, Jimmy. Just press block. If I don't know the number, I just block it. But anyway, we're going to do that this winter, this coming summer, and that way the vehicles will be under a canopy per se, and the roof will head over all the way in back towards that rear building. In other words, there will be a roof line for them two to tie in together, and it'll go back to the other building, and because it'll come out farther away on one side and go from the front of the house all the way to the rear little building.
Roger. Well, you know, I have given back the wife. I gave her back her sun deck. You know, it's returned that to her, and now I've returned the 30-foot deck almost to her. All those antennas are gone. The UHFs that were around that deck are now stashed away in the shed, and the support poles and tees and all that stuff are in the proper metal bins. So she's almost got that totally returned to her. The only thing on that is still a 10 meter 5/8, a I think it's a 26 element UHF at 20 feet, and there is a let's see, there is a tower beside the deck. Now I don't count that, you know, I'm just talking about the deck. The tower is a 35-foot deck, a 35-foot tower with a 10-foot extension underneath a rotor, and that's one of my VHF antennas. And then there's another one that's about 5 feet away from that, which was my original antenna that was so hot. And I put the tower next to it and extended an extra 10 feet above that, trying to get a better signal than my original. And still, that original VHF antenna Yagi is still hotter than anything I've been able to do. Roger.
Are you talking about the G7 or the beam that me and you put up there?
Oh, I'm talking about a 7-element. A 7-element. My original 7-element Yagi is even hotter than that Big Mama. That what is that? 22 element? No, it's a 22-foot. 18 element or something like that.
So there is a diminishing return, as they say. You know, there's only so much you can get out of a. And being that it's a metallic tubing, it takes away from the antenna. So therefore, being on wood, which still is not good, there's some resistance in wood. Fiberglass would be better.
Oh, I don't know about that. I've taken. I mean, you would consider PVC to be a pretty good insulator, but I have swished some. I think it was half-inch PVC tubing around the driven element of a 450 meg 22 element. Yagi, and I can see some detuning with just the PVC, Roger.
Wow. Well, I've seen free space, too. I've seen where they tie a string at the top of the elements, a string at the bottom of the elements, and then they pull them tight with each other like monolithic, 100-pound things. And I've actually seen antennas rolled up in a package, and they take it out here and put 2 sticks in the ground and point this antenna somewhere to make contact with somebody. A VHF, UHF, vertical or horizontal. Kind of looks like a what do you call it? Hammock. But it's very straight. It's a very straight hammock, and they have a way of trussing it to keep it, straight in line and so forth and so on. A very impressive device, I must say.
Well, I tell you, I'm working on this VHF antenna now. It's fairly simplistic, but a bit complicated in that I figure it only has to transmit 3,000 feet. If I can go 3,000 feet straight up and then just umbrella off of that, I can work 500-mile radius.
Well, I told you before, we needed a helium balloon that would allow us to let that thing up in the air, and that we needed a string to keep it, directional. One string one way, the other. We need to try that a little bit. But I'm telling you, at the farm, just going down the road, it's amazing. The frequencies, I have it on scan, and it's amazing how all that comes about. And by the way, I've got your radio over here. They shipped it back. They said that it could not be fixed, and that they would not fix it because of I'm not really sure what the deal was, but there's a paper here that they shipped it back. It's been here for quite some time. I want to let you know that your UHF radio, whatever it is, and the folks there at YAESU said that along with a couple other rigs I had, that they recommended replacing them with new ones, and I thought to myself, this is BS. You're just not in the mood of, taking parts out of something else and sticking it in somebody. They don't want to keep cadavers around there. They got parts for it and they fix it, or they won't fix it.
Yeah, well, that UHF is a European. That's not a USA import. That's European, and that's why they don't want to mess with it.
Ah, it's an FCC violation.
I guess so. Yeah, it's not a. Yeah, what do you call that when it's? I think it's just a European sale for sale in Europe, and somehow it meandered its way into the USA.
Yeah, stand by for about 10 minutes, you don't mind, and let me check a few things. I'll be back shortly. N9GTO.
All right. I'll catch you later, sir. 3s for now. KC9VKV.